SHRM thanks Gap International for sponsoring this episode of Tomorrowist. As a trusted partner to global leaders for nearly half a century, Gap International works with organizations to deliver superior performance. Gap drives transformational change by focusing on mindset shifts and performance breakthroughs. Learn more about our longstanding partner at gapinternational.com.
Business leaders face uncertainty and volatility. Non-humans are entering the workplace. Memes control the stock market, and geopolitics is a business concern. Disruption isn't a future concept. It's here. I am Justin Brady, and using 7,000 predictions and 12 major workplace trends from SHRM, you and I will sit down with psychologists, CEOs, scientists, entrepreneurs, and analysts to make sense of it all. This show isn't about the future. It's about actions to take tomorrow. This is Tomorrowist. Hey everyone, Justin here. On today's interview with Jyoti Chopra of MGM Resorts International, we had a slight technical error, and so we used a backup video system. If things look just a little bit different, that's why. Here's the interview. I'm Justin Brady, and what is the difference? Is there a difference between your people and sustainability? I know that sounds a little confusing. I promise it won't here in just a bit. Are we seeing an executive role shift in the way organizations lead these things? It's a big question, and that's why Jyoti Chopra, the Chief People, Inclusion, and Sustainability Officer for MGM Resorts International, joins us on Tomorrowist. Jyoti, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Fantastic to be here with you, Justin, and your audience.
So it's a huge question. I had to read that a few times to make sure I wasn't reading it incorrectly. Chief People, Inclusion, Sustainability Officer. I'm not missing anything, am I?
You got it right.
So I don't think the last time I checked, MGM was a startup at all. So do these roles divide your attention, or are these one focused role? How do you explain that?
Yeah, it's a terrific question. And the way to think about it is, it's about caring for our people and the planet. MGM Resorts has had a long history of care, support, investment in the area of sustainability. We are the largest employer in the state of Nevada. Across the nation, we have today over 64,000 people that we're responsible for. And so it's an incredibly important function. And it came together a few years ago as I joined the company in 2019. And the strategic thinking behind it was to have an integrated role that looked after areas like human resources, philanthropy, community engagement, and environmental sustainability. And as we looked at our role for MGM in the larger ecosystem, there was a lot of intersection and close connectivity between those disciplines. Our employees, our people are out in the community. They care about giving back. They volunteer. They are interested in making a difference in and around our environmental footprint, whether that's in the area of energy conservation or water. And so the opportunity to be able to mobilize our people and our workforce and contribute to the communities in which we serve and where we're located, and to be able to protect the planet became an imperative and really important for us. And so that's sort of the story behind the role. It's been an evolution, it's been a journey, and it's the sum of the parts today for us at MGM.
Yeah, and of course, when I do this show, I investigate people heavily. You call it human and social capital. This is a phrase you use repeatedly. And I'll say, when I first learned about this role, I'm like, why are they lumping all this stuff together? That makes no sense to me. But the more I listen to you, the more it makes sense, because sustainability is very much focused on humans and how your humans perform and how your human health. So that makes a lot of sense. Do you think all organizations should go this way, or is it just a direction that MGM has decided to go for your unique purposes?
I'm increasingly seeing convergence in the space um, from, for example, an integrated reporting perspective. And more and more companies are starting to think about this work holistically as they report out for their companies holistically on people and environmental metrics, as an example. And so I think it depends on, number one, the stage of maturity that an organization is at with both their human capital and their social capital work. Two, the reporting component is really critical, and where each organizational company is from a reporting standpoint. So, your ability to track, to measure, to define key performance indicators in these areas and report out on them is also important. And so I do think it depends on each company and where they are in the journey. At MGM, for example, we've been at this a very long time. We're at a more mature, advanced stage in our journey on both human capital and social capital. And so this is the right structure for us today at our company and for the foreseeable future. The last point that I would make on sort of the combination of the role is the incredible synergies that you get by bringing this work together, the creativity, the innovation. And I'll share a very quick story around this, if I may.
Please, yeah, it sounds fascinating. That's what I was going to actually ask you a good example, so that's perfect.
One of the really powerful examples of this work and the coming together is in the area of community service and community engagement, and the intersection of that work with food waste. I would go back about 4 years ago when our teams realized that there was an opportunity to alleviate food insecurity and to reduce food waste in our and through our conventions and banquets business. MGM Resorts has a large business in providing convention and large group meeting space. So if you think about a property like Mandalay Bay, for example, on the Strip in Las Vegas, we have large convention rooms and hotel space. Similarly, at a property like Aria, we have large convention and banquet space on the Strip. And so what our teams did was they identified an opportunity around when there is excess food at a property like Aria, for example, identifying the food that can be rescued or saved. We innovated with our chefs and with some partners outside a way to safely and in accordance with food and health regulations, flash freeze the food at the appropriate temperatures. We retrofitted a mobile van so that we could transport the food. And we worked on identifying a partner. And in the case of locally here in Las Vegas, that partner is 3 Square, which provides food donation services out to the local community. And so by putting together this partnership, since then until today, we rescue excess food from our banquets and meetings at Aria. It's transported safely into these vans. It goes out to a food donations bank and then goes out into the community to provide meals for those in the greatest need. And so that's an example of where you see people coming
Yeah.
together and providing services in a way that's meaningful.
Yeah, it's a really good example because it does clearly show that the sustainability aspect, food waste, trying to cut down on food waste, was tied directly into the philanthropy and people aspect of freeze drying and getting that to the right people who need it. It's an interesting blend, and you kind of do wonder if people were more siloed, would they have made that connection? Maybe maybe the answer is no. I don't know, but it is a really really good example. It does bring up the sustainability aspect. I obviously want to push into that a little bit because you guys are working hard on the sustainability aspect as well. Do you have a famous casino, you have fountains, you're in the middle of a desert in a drought time. And so, like, what goes beyond just greenwashing at MGM? Because I know you're proud of what you're doing there. And so it's a, a lot of energy, big operation. So how do you guys go beyond greenwashing?
So, what I would say is, first and foremost, water conservation is paramount importance to us. We are in a desert environment where there are shortages of water, and we are acutely aware of that. What often isn't publicized is that a lot of the water that comes through venues like the fountains, et cetera, is actually recycled water, all that comes from our wells and so on. And so there is a considerable amount of water here that is recycled and repurposed. And we have been incredibly conscious of water conservation. We have a policy around water conservation, and we have a water stewardship framework. We have partnered with the Southern Nevada Water Authority as an example. And through a grant that MGM has made, we are providing rebates to our people, our employees, to encourage them to adopt water saving measures, whether that is turf replacement, in other words, ripping out grass and putting in artificial turf, or installing water safety and water conservation measures within their homes. This is something that we're really committed to.
In their home, wait, hold on. In their homes?
Yeah,
So
we have kids.
MGM sustainability efforts go beyond just the property and into your employees' homes as well.
If they choose, yeah, we have
Wow.
water saving kits that we distribute through which they can save water in their homes. So that's an example. These are some examples of things that we've put into place. And I would say, importantly, on the topic of water in particular, this is something that we are in touch with our authorities. We monitor our conservation efforts. We did something very interesting with the F1 race last year, as an example. We installed a special device that went into one of the towers to help with water saving during the actual F1 race. And so we're using technology, we're using partnerships, and looking for new ways to save water or recycle water as examples. But our work goes beyond just water. We have energy saving measures. For example, a couple of years ago, we opened a massive solar array in the desert, not too far from the strip, that today powers over 90% of our daytime electricity at our properties. We've retrofitted a lot of our properties with LED lighting, as an example. And so the investment on the part of MGM in areas like energy and water conservation or food waste are significant. But I think the other side of it, segueing to the people, is the mobilization and education in and around our workforce. So we have a sustainability task force within the company that is made up of leaders from a cross section of areas, including facilities and finance and our supply chain, human resources as examples. And we get together and we share best practices. We talk about our learnings and some of the new pilots that we have underway, and use that as an opportunity to educate our teams and our people. And so those are some of the things that we're doing within the walls of MGM.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. The especially the fact that you're sending these water kits home. This leads into another. You mentioned the solar array, which I assume eventually you get your money back on something like that. You mentioned the LED lighting that lowers the overall energy consumption. But sometimes when people think of conservation and sustainability in a hotel setting, not MGM obviously doesn't just do resort. You have a lot of stuff, but sometimes they think of like the little placard in your room that's like, "Don't throw the towels on the floor, and we won't use water to clean them." And that's okay. Sure, it's a sustainability thing, but it's also, if we're honest, saving the property money. So Are all your sustainability things, is there a business case behind all of them? Or sometimes does MGM just take a financial hit because it's the right thing to do?
Yeah, our priority has always been what's the right thing to do, and for the environment, for the communities that we serve, and in the way of giving back. That said, we do have a number of guest-facing initiatives in support of sustainability. We do operate thousands of hotel rooms across multiple properties. And it's really all about servicing our guests, and we give our guests the option, not to have the rooms made up or not to have their sheets washed and turned over on a daily basis, as an example. And so it's up to our guests, and if this is an area that's important, and we hope that it is for them, that they will support us in the area of whether it's water conservation and being environmentally friendly. But that is up to our guests, and that is their choice. And so we do have a number of guest facing initiatives as well.
Yeah, so you're inviting the guest to join you on that journey. It asks, sometimes when you go to the hotel, well, let me back up a little bit. MGM is like, it is luxury. That is the brand. Golden letters, luxury, and sometimes, at least historically, I'm not saying this is the case with MGM at all, but at least historically, we associate luxury with excess and opulence and just over the top everything. Do you ever find that the MGM iconic luxury brand is at odds with your sustainability initiatives, and how do you tackle that?
Well, first and foremost, what I would say is yes, we have luxury properties, but we also have other properties that cater to the non luxury segment. If I call to mind as examples Excalibur, Luxor, New York, New York, and in the regions as well, we have properties that cater to guests from all different backgrounds and have all different needs. And so there is a segment clearly of our hotel operations that are focused on luxury. So we cover the gamut. I would say, in terms of the question around are we at odds? No. We have a multifaceted, multidimensional approach to sustainability. We're looking at it from a range of areas, and we service a broad range of customers. And so it's a combination of both what our customers want, what our customer preferences are, what our guests are interested in addition to doing what's right for the environment. We spend a lot of time on education, as I mentioned, of our workforce, and that's also been a big part of our overall programming. And I'm really proud of how far we've come on the journey.
Yeah, and I'm still fascinated by the fact that you are blending the people role and the sustainability role, and I'm learning. Obviously, I research my guests, but I'm also learning in real time here the benefit to the business case, the benefit to the guests, the benefit to the people, the benefit to the environment. One big, like, kind of last thing I want to touch on with you is, has this, and I don't even know if it's considered a blended role anymore, because after speaking with you, it makes sense why it's one role. It makes a lot of sense to me. But have you found that this blended human and social capital role, I wrote that down, human and social capital role, have you found this changes the actual, like, workplace strategy, like the people who work at MGM, the people who you're hiring? Has that completely changed how you work together as a team?
I believe that it's strengthened the way we work together with our people and our teams, and our properties. MGM, as I mentioned earlier, has been doing sustainability work for a very, very long time. By bringing together the people and the planet components, we're able to effectively leverage our physical footprint, the power of our workforce. I mean, think about thousands of people that we can mobilize to go out into the communities. And I'll bring you an example. At MGM, I'm really proud that we have employee and business resource groups. These are grassroots volunteer networks that have come together and grown up organically within our company. And they focus on a diverse array of needs and interests of our workforce. But one of our newest and fastest growing is called Planet Protectors. And this is an employee business resource group that is all about protecting the planet. And it's made up of employees from MGM. But they organize, for example, cleanups in parks on the weekends. They do events after work in and around sustainability. I attended one last week that was at ARIA, which was all about food waste, that one of our chefs moderated, and he was educating our employees around how you can save food and the importance of saving food. And so this is a very powerful way to mobilize the employee and the workforce in areas that they're passionate about, get them to go out into the communities and to help our company and to help make the world a better place in a meaningful way. And so really proud of the teamwork and the spirit of teamwork that our people at MGM share and give back.
So last question, the hiring, the hiring strategy is different. I'm hearing the work strategy at MGM for the workers is completely different, the way you guys roll. Last question then, is the traditional HR role, is that dead? Is it dying? Is it going to be gone?
I believe that there will always be a need for a function within any organization that is all about caring for, nurturing the well-being of your workforce. I think it's an essential role. I think the role has evolved. So if I look at human resources today at MGM, for example, we're all about advancing and strengthening, fortifying our culture. We're about the employee experience. We're all about the well-being of the people of MGM. And so that's a very different role and department than what you may have had a few years ago in the more traditional human resources area. We still do things like support payroll, of course, but it's a much deeper type of function that really is about the nurturing and the well-being of our people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fascinating, like I said, and I wonder if maybe we have you to thank for in the next 5 to 10 years for a complete change in the executive structure of companies. And I don't know. Maybe the traditional role of HR is gone. Maybe everybody needs to be a chief people, inclusion, and sustainability officer. Jyoti Chopra, the Chief People, Inclusion, and Sustainability Officer at MGM Resorts International. Thank you so much for coming on Tomorrowist. I really appreciate it.
It's been great to be with you, Justin, and your audience. Thanks for having MGM.
Before we say goodbye, I encourage you to subscribe to Tomorrowist wherever you get your podcasts. You can find all our episodes at shrm.org/Tomorrowist, and while you're there, sign up for our weekly newsletter. Thanks for listening, and remember, the workplace is changing rapidly. You don't have time to be a futurist. Be a Tomorrowist.
SHRM thanks Gap International for sponsoring this episode of Tomorrowist. Learn more about our long-standing partner at gapinternational.com.